Well, it's 10 of Swords, part 14. This is Marauders 15. And what's this 2 weeks, 2 Marauders issues? It's a bounty of Marauders. In our last issue, we basically ended with a cliffhanger of Wolverine saying, F this tournament, I'm just going to stab Saturnyne right in the chest and put an end to it. Does that work? Where does it go from here? Well, I mean, our cover shows her like doing a little toast with a bunch of our favorite mutants with some kind of white fluid all over their face. Phrasing. So thinking it didn't work out so well, but let's find out. Everybody, this is Perch. It's part 14 of 22. We are 3/4, almost, no, not quite 3/4. We're about 2/3 of the way through this series. And this is 10 of Swords, part 14, Marauders, chapter 15. This is by the team of Duggan and Percy. And it is going to pick up right where we left off. Stefano Caselli coming in to do a little bit of art here. It's always nice when that happens. But we get our couple, data sheet of some quotes, and then we get a choose your own adventure type dead end. You know those books where you had to choose your own adventure, and then you'd hit the page where you made a bad mistake and like the world blew up. That's where we hear that after Logan murdered Saturnyne in her own home. I like how it's in her own home as opposed to like outside by the garbage. Chaos erupted, and then there's a fierce battle between Saturnyne, Krakoa, and Arakko, and the Starlight Citadel fell, and the gate closed, and arguments began, and then the gate erupted with Iraqi warriors, and then they killed off everybody and blew up the earth. And I like how Krakoa issued a distress call that was answered by the Earth's mightiest heroes, the Avengers of Fantastic Four, the hosts of Asgard, who all fought and lost. Well, whatever. Yeah, telepathic mind bombs, all kinds of stuff. So our comic opens up with basically 2 pages of this horrible future. We've got dragons. We've got the world all blown up. We see Doctor Strange being hurled from his house on fire with a couple of the champions, Arakko. And we see Wolverine, who is crucified on his classic X board. That board's way too thin to hold up. But anyway, he gets stabbed, and Saturnyne says, "Is a glimpse of the future. It's a gift. This is what happens if you fail. If Arakko basically wins, the entire world goes to hell," which is going to be bad news for King in Black. Like by the time that he shows up, then anyway, where all these things come together, I don't know. I still kind of get a feeling we're in a different reality here. I'm just going to roll that out. But anyway, so we see all the characters here, and we see that now that everybody's arrived at Starlight Citadel, ready to fight for their lives, but first dinner, this time for real. So yes, it's another comic about dinner. So that brief flash goes by, and we basically see that Saturnyne use some magical shenanigans to not get it done, and Storm's like, "Hey, why didn't you get it done?" And Wolverine's like, forget it, I guess we'll have dinner. In the previous issue, we saw that war poisoned Wolverine's food, and Doug Ramsey basically goes to have some sushi. I'm not sure if this is the urine sushi or not. Maybe. That was on the menu from the last issue. But he slaps out his hand not fast enough as Doug is poisoned and starts to die. And War immediately takes credit. Like, I did it. Iska the Unbeaten stabs a hole in Doug's neck. And by the way, for people at home, this isn't the way you help poisoning. I know in a lot of movies, let's just throw a hole in here and that will help things work. It doesn't work that way. Don't stab holes in people's necks. It won't work out for you. Utopia, the Amazon series did that. We're doing it here. You don't just blow a hole in somebody's neck and that clears up breathing problems or poisoning problems. So don't do that. If you're a doctor, that take somebody to a doctor. If you're in a stressful situation, just stabbing random holes in people, bad idea. Just saying, bad idea. This is comic review and health tips right here. So anyway, we get to a lot of other dinner and back and forth. And as this all happens, the White Sword, who's a member of the team of Arakko, basically shows up, say, "I'm not party to cowardice. I'm not party to poisoning people, and that's ridiculous. So he comes in and he heals Doug, spits out the poison, releases obligations from him. I'm not sure what obligations exactly would have come in. And while this is going on, we get a little jokey moment between Apocalypse and Genesis as people are starting to throw glasses and things around in the background. And Apocalypse says, "I see you did well with the children." And Genesis is like, "Well, I did my best." It's like, wah, 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 wah. So anyway, some levity. So as the characters kind of all settle down and they're all fighting, Captain Avalon, Brian, decides to have a little chat with Saturnyne and basically petitions her to, make this, declare Krakoa the winner by forfeit because the Arakko cheated. And she points out that Wolverine also tried to kill her, and so he cheated. And she would have done it, but no, Wolverine did his bit, and so the tournament continues. And so they have some more dinner. So they basically eat some beetles, and this freaks out Death, who says, "You're serving me the sacred beetle." He takes off his helmet and murders off the waiter, who is acting like kind of a dick in this thing. There's a lot of this kind of stuff. So anyway, he basically melts him away, and Wolverine eats the beetle, the scarab. So Wolverine just proven to be a prick during this whole thing. Saturnyne once again says, "Hey, if you lifted the right sword, meaning return to be Captain Britain and reclaim the mantle of her champion, that she would let all this go away." And Captain Britain's like, "No, it's in my past, and I trust you won't go to bits." And this whole thing is a little ridiculous in the sense that Saturnyne just showed the entire Earth getting devastated and everybody getting killed and murdered off. And I guess Captain Britain doesn't technically know that. So anyway, but it is kind of a weird thing. It's like everyone's going to die if you lose, and you could solve this by becoming my champion. I don't know if becoming my champion also means porking her, if that's part of the deal, but maybe. I'm not sure, but it seems kind of selfish for Captain Britain. He's like, "I'm willing to go ahead and let undoubtedly some of our own people die, and the Earth potentially get overrun, but yeah, it's all good." Maybe he's thinking if they do lose, then he can do plan B, which is porking her, and then it will all work out. That could be. I'm not sure. So dinner time now serves some unicorn, and this is some people get excited by that, and other people are grossed out. Storm's like, "I'm not going to eat this unicorn." There's some jokes about vegans in here, which is good. There's some random people, like there's a wizard just sitting at this table. Like, who's this wizard dude? Like this wizard dude just kind of hanging out eating some unicorn. Like, how did he get involved in this? There's some this dinner table was supposed to be just the champions, but just some random people kind of show up, and then Summoner's just eating. He has no place at the table apparently. He's just kind of eating this unicorn. Anyway. And there's some back and forth. Gorgon is one of the better characters in this whole thing. Cable decides, again, some more levity. Cable's like, "It has to be weird for you two, Genesis and Apocalypse." And he says, "You don't have any experience. You little boy, you don't get any of this." So all right, so it's some nice dinner conversation. We get to a opening line tournament with odds of survival by Jay Jaspers, which basically puts Iska the Unbeaten as the odds-on favorite, with kind of the thin odds, with Annihilation being second and Apocalypse being third, and then we get the White Sword is sixth. So basically, all the favorites are on the Arakko Warriors. I mean, there's very, very little here for anybody else. Apocalypse comes in there. Then Gorgon and Wolverine are kind of tied up. Captain Avalon, Captain Britain, 30-1 odds. Poor old Doug has got 5,000-1 odds. It's good. Anyway, yeah, all right. Cable's 100-1 odds. Not sure why Cable has worse odds than some of these others, but okay. Anyway, for what it's worth. So they move to dessert, and or what looks like dessert, and Cable's like chatting up Iska, and they basically have this little contest where they try and do a trick on her of seeing if she could stack glasses or pick a number under a cup. And there is Cable gets spotted by Apocalypse sucking his thumb after he pokes it. He's wearing gloves, but apparently the gloves are made out of tissue paper, and they just immediately rip off, and then he's Apocalypse seeing is sucking his thumb, and that's embarrassing. Oh, it's embarrassing. So we go back and forth, and they talk about these people are coddled and their children, and so on. So as the dinner kind of basically wraps up, and Wolverine's confiding in Storm that he saw the entire world burn. So maybe somebody should go tell Captain Avalon to get over there and pork Saturnyne so they can get away with all this. Anyway, she draws the cards and say, tomorrow we get our first contest. Glory be, our first contest is in the next issue, and it's Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain, against Iska the Unbeaten of Arakko to the death, and that is going to be our first challenge. So yes, glory be, chapter 15. We're going to get a tournament. So that's our issue, and that's what goes on. Some thoughts about this comic. Well, for those who like kind of light-hearted comedy and just some kind of bumbling around, this comic delivers. Sort of on that. It is, in terms of palace intrigue, what strikes me is I think the characters that have been introduced from Arakko there's some interesting characters there. In many cases, those characters are portrayed and written a lot more interestingly than the X-Men characters, who at times are written very weirdly, not like their personalities. They're kind of all over the place, whereas the characters of Arakko have a much more defined personality coming out of this. So, I mean, if the goal was to have me root for the team that's not the X-Men, then mission accomplished. It has done that. 2 issues in a 22-part series about a dinner party. I mean, I guess it's feeling out the other side and getting some of these personalities to shine, and that's nice. It just I just cannot completely divorce myself from the fact that this is a lot of comics and a lot of issues of very decompressed storytelling and kind of random moments. I mean, did you need multiple pages of Iska, picking a number correctly to really define that, she's a badass? I'm going to go with no. I'm going to go with you don't. At any rate, that's our issue. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you liking Ten of Swords? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. But most importantly, as always, thanks for listening.